House will come back to order. Clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
The following resolution will be read for the first time and referred to the Committee on Rules. Commending the Pierce County High School cheerleading squad on their 2013-2014 GHSA Class AAA State Championship and inviting them to be recognized by the House. Recognizing and commending Barbara Eubanks. Recognizing and commending Ms. Jennifer Leanne Eady, 2014 Georgia Watermelon Queen. Recognizing and commending Jerry G. Houston. Honoring the Health Law Partnership for 10 years of exemplary service to Georgia's children and their families. Recognizing Raekwon McMillan. Honoring the life and memory of Mrs. Ruby Nell Enola Gay Dearden. I don't know what to do with that. Recognizing Rita B. Maynard. Recognizing and commending Dr. Eva Galabos. Recognizing and commending Michelle Cooper Kelly. Recognizing and commending Bridget Donaldson, M.D. Roberts Middle School 2014 Teacher of the Year. Recommending and commending Sharonda Ancrum Collins, Kemp Primary Schools 2014 Teacher of the Year. Recognizing and commending Terrelyn Jones, Kemp Elementary Schools 2014 Teacher of the Year. Commending the City of Duluth Chief of Police Randy Belcher. Commending the 65th Infantry Regiment. Congratulating Virginia Military Institute on its 175th anniversary on November 11, 2014. Recognizing the 150th anniversary of the Battle of Newmarket. Commending the Hispanic organization promoting education. Commending Apu Inca. Recognizing and commending the Atlanta Community Food Service Bank on the occasion of its 35th anniversary, and it's for its contributions to the people of the state of Georgia. Recognizing and commending the Empire Board of Realists. Honoring the life and memory of Edward Kip William Klein III. Recognizing and commending Randall Pugh on the occasion of his retirement. Recognizing and commending Jonathan Edward Sanders. Recognizing and commending David Andrew Sanders. Recognizing February 25th, 2014 as Macon-Bibb County Day at the State Capitol, inviting citizens and public officials from Macon-Bibb County to be recognized by the House. Commending the Georgia Peach Festival and the 2013 Georgia Peach Queens and inviting them to be recognized by the House. Recognizing and commending Dr. H. Allen Ecker and inviting him to be recognized by the House. Recognizing and commending Bert Williams on being selected the 2013 American Community College Football Coaches Association Coach of the Year and inviting him to be recognized by the House. Recognizing and commending Kera Animashawn Ajiboye, and for other purposes. That completes the reading of privilege resolutions.
Is there objection to the adoption of the privilege resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. All right, we're going back to the rules calendar. The clerk will read the caption to House Bill 843. House Bill 843.
House Bill 843 by Representative Riley, the 50th, to amend Title 47 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to retirement and pensions. This bill having come before the Committee on Retirement, the committee recommends same do pass. and be read for the third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Riley to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring today House Bill 843. It is a retirement bill. In 2009 and 2010, legislation was passed that aligned Georgia law with the Federal Internal Revenue Code. However, the IRS has required that another change in Georgia law be made to keep the ERS and TRS in compliance with the IRS regulations as it relates to their qualified pension plans. House Bill 843 will make minor changes to our legislative code in order to remain compliant. Mr. Speaker, I do have a copy of the IRS letter requesting this change, and I will not read it in the respect for everyone's time today, but I do ask for your favorable consideration for this legislation.
You have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 843 will vote aye. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 843, the ayes are 155, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 753. House Bill 753.
House Bill 753 by Representative Powell, the 32nd. To amend Article 1 of Chapter 1 of Title 40 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to the general provisions of identifying and regulating motor vehicles. This bill having come before the Committee on Motor Vehicles, the committee recommends the same do pass by committee substitute and be read for the third time.
Chair recognizes the chairman of the Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee, Chairman Alan Powell, to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen of the House. I bring to you House Bill 753. This is an annual housekeeping bill that we do for the Department of Public Safety. This bill puts the state rules and regulations dealing with commercial motor carriers into sync with the federal rules and regs. This year, this is even more important because we have some of the prosecutors that are questionable whether they can prosecute some of the violations on the federal law and vice versa. And they have asked, Prosecuting Attorney's Council has asked for some of that language. There's language that clarifies a state of weather emergencies in this bill. And if you look toward the back of the bill, the other part of what this does by clarifying the language, it states and restates what is also current language today about those roads within the ARC or within 285, that in the case of a weather emergency, that what vehicles can and cannot travel and for what purpose commercial vehicles can travel inside. It also, inside that ARC, it also states that these folks will have sufficient gear as prescribed by the Department of Public Safety, not just necessarily chains for their tires, but studs, cables, and stuff like that, so that we don't get into what had gotten into at that first ice storm that happened. That's, ladies and gentlemen, that is what this bill is about, and I would ask for your favorable consideration. And if there's any questions, I'll be more than glad to answer them.
You have a question if you yield.
Yes, sir, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Kirby to your left for a question.
Will the gentleman yield?
I certainly will.
Okay, in section 3, the restrictions inside the ARC on 285, are those just in inclement weather, or are those at all time?
This is identified as during inclement weather.
Okay, so those are just during the weather emergencies
Right.
or inclement weather. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No further questions.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I ask for your favorable consideration.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 753 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Have all members now voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. On the passage of House Bill 753, the ayes are 156, the nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 490. House Bill 490.
House Bill 490 be Representative Barr of the 103rd to amend Part 6 of Article 17, Chapter 2, Title 20 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to health insurance plans for teachers and other school personnel. This bill having come before the Committee on Education, the committee recommends same do pass by committee substitute and be read for the third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Barr to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is my honor to present this bill on behalf of the libraries. At their annual meeting, they voted unanimously to request this piece of legislation. A letter of support is on your desks asking that this do pass. ACCG is as well in full support. HB 490 addresses the current inequity that exists between public library employees and other public employees in regards to the state health benefit plan. HB 490 would adjust the threshold to participate in the plan from 17 hours to 30 hours for public library employees. This change would align them with other county employees, and it would also it would offer increased hours to part-time staff by reducing the health insurance cost. To quote the South Georgia Regional Director, it is very difficult to recruit and retain quality staff if the most that we can afford to offer them is 17 hours per week. Lastly, I'd like to thank Representative Chairman Rogers for all his guidance in this bill, and in keeping with the Madam Chair Cooper's School of Brevity, if there are any questions. Actually, let me impose here, this is my first bill, so I'm sure there will be questions to cut to the chase. Mr. Speaker, I yield for questions.
That was a good guess. You have quite a number of questions. Do you yield?
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Representative Rogers, Terry Rogers, to your right for a question.
Will the gentleman yield?
Reluctantly, sir.
Reluctantly. Okay, let me think of
The
another
chair
question.
considers that to be disrespectful to the questioner.
Yes, I yield for questions from the distinguished gentleman.
Thank you, sir. And this is your first bill.
Correct.
Is it true that the reason that you picked libraries for your first bill is because you have found a drought of coloring books in libraries?
Sir, with all due respect, they do not lend coloring books.
And you're an expert on that,
I am indeed. I have 2 little girls.
who look to you as an example for how to color out.
Absolutely, inside the lines every time.
I think that's a great answer, and I think you did a great job in your first bill. Congratulations.
Thank you for the question.
Let's see if you do better with this, Rogers. Chair recognizes the chairman of the Higher Education Committee, Chairman Carl Rogers, to your right.
Chairman Yield.
I yield. Yes, sir.
Okay. Isn't it true this bill came out of higher ed and not the Education Committee?
That is correct, sir. It does only deal with the librarians.
Isn't it further true we had 7 meetings over the interim to work out all the complications to appease everybody, and everybody's in agreement?
That is correct. Thank you for the question. It is a unanimous of all the libraries. Yes, sir.
Good. Thank you very much.
Do you further yield?
Yes, sir. I'd like to take one more.
Chair recognizes Representative Taylor to your right for a question.
To Representative Yield, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you like the new low wattage lights we've got, the LED lights? Yes, that does look like a deer in the headlights.
With that, I yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 490 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 490. The ayes are 166, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 920. House Bill 920.
House Bill 920 by Representative Teasley of the 37th to amend Chapter 25 of Title 33 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to life insurance. This bill having come before the Committee on Insurance. The committee recommends same be passed by committee substitute and be read for the third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Teasley to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the House. I bring before you House Bill 920. What this bill is intending to address is, in years past, a number of companies, life insurance and annuity companies, had been using the Social Security's death master file, which basically keeps records of all the deceased. And They had been using this file to only check it against annuities, but not against life insurance policies. Since that, most life insurance companies have changed their internal policies, but what we're trying to do here is to put it into code that from now on January 1st, all policies renewed or created after January 1st, 2015 will require a semi-annual check on the Death Master file and its update file. It is an in-coil model bill. It has been vetted and supported by the National Alliance of Life Insurance Companies and the American Council of Life Insurers, and it also happens to have the support of the Georgia Insurance Commissioner. And with that, I'd be glad to yield for any questions.
You do not have any questions.
Thank you very much. I ask for your favorable consideration.
The gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 920 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 920. The ayes are 168, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 495. House Bill 495.
House Bill 495 by Representative Hill of the 22nd. To amend Article 2, Chapter 16 and Title 50 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the State Properties Code. This bill having come before the Committee on State Properties, the committee recommends the same do pass by committee substitute and be read for the third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Donahue to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I bring before you HB 495. Representative Calvin Hill had worked on this bill for a couple years and put a lot of parts of this together, and then of course the sad of his passing last year. I want to tell you a little bit about what this does. This basically streamlines the sale of state properties from where we sell them today. Let me give you a little bit. It allows for the State Properties Commission, chaired by the governor and including members appointed by the Speaker of the House and Lieutenant Governor, to approve conveyances of real property valued at $500,000 or less without General Assembly approval. However, the legislation does allow for a General Assembly veto period for these conveyances. In other words, it takes approximately 520 plus days to sell a piece of state property. What we're trying to do is streamline this to where if you have $100,000 or less, you have one appraisal. If you have $100,000 to $500,000, you have to have two appraisals. These appraisals will go before the committee, and the committee at that time will let the State Properties Chair of the House and the Senate participate with properties that are viewed for sale. Now, if this is in your district, all you have to do, they're going to give you 30 days in certified mail letter to oppose this. If you write back and you say, no, do not sell, that vetoes the process and brings it back to the House to where we have final decision. If there's any questions, I'll entertain any questions. If not, the favorable pass of this bill would be appreciated.
You have a question if you yield.
Yes, sir.
Chair recognizes Chairman Dollar to your left for a question.
Gentleman, yield.
Yes, sir.
When you say certified mail, is that how the member is notified, or is that the process by which the member has to notify the commission?
The member will be notified basically by certified mail to your district. If it was your district, you would receive a letter and an email stating that this property in your district will come up for sale. At that time, you will have a plat of what you're looking at. You have the opportunity at that time to agree with the property by knowing the property, or you'll have the opportunity of writing them back in that 30-day period and letting them know that you oppose that, which will veto the sale of that property.
Gentleman, further yield?
Yes, sir.
I am assuming the same process applies over in the Senate as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay. One last question, if you yield. So the only people within the General Assembly that would be notified of any potential sale would be the chairman of the respective committee and that member.
And the Senate.
The
Senate also,
yeah,
yes, sir.
The Senate chairman, the House chairman,
yes,
and
sir.
then the member of which is,
and if it was property, between your district and another rep's district that was between two counties or two districts, both of you would receive notice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chair, recognize you. Do you yield for a further question?
Yes, sir. Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Kidd to your left for a question.
Thank you, sir. Gentleman, yield.
Yes, sir.
Is this not the legislation that's been worked on with the Properties Commission for a couple of years that enables towns like Rome and Augusta, Columbus, and Milledgeville, and other towns throughout the state that unfortunately have had to close numerous state-owned facilities and now have numerous state-owned buildings and properties within their counties that need some assistance in disposing of those more rapidly than under the current system?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
As an investor, I would look at 100 to 120 days this will streamline to try to make an investment in property. If it's 520 to 600 days, that's really going to take someone like me out of the picture because I could use my money somewhere else to find a piece of property I would need a little faster. Also, these are properties that are basically not bringing in anything. This would allow the person to purchase a property to put it back on the tax digest to where monies would be coming in, and it wouldn't be a cancer. It would be something that would actually help the neighborhood, whichever district that would be in.
No further questions.
Thank you.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? The chair hears none. The committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 495 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 495. The ayes are 163. The nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 898. House Bill 898.
House Bill 898 for Representative Pack of the 108th to amend Title 39 and 49 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to minors and social services, respectfully, so as to repeal the interstate compact on juveniles. This bill having come before the Committee on Juvenile Justice, the committee recommends same do pass and be read for the third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Pack to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And ladies and gentlemen of the House, I bring before you HB 898, which is commonly known as the Interstate Compact for Juveniles Bill. Just to give you a little background, Georgia was, in fact, a part of an interstate compact dating back to 1955. But over the years, what happened was the states started developing and adopting laws that are dissimilar, so the compact was unworkable. Fast forward to 2003, majority of the states, 49 states and 2 territories, adopted a revised interstate compact. The only holdout in the contiguous 50 states is Georgia. And HB 898 would get Georgia to be part of the interstate compact. The question would be, why would you need to join the compact? Number one, because of the mobility of juveniles in our state and our country, and a lot of juveniles moving down, if you're not part of the compact and that juvenile is under supervision for a juvenile crime that they committed from another state, the states are no longer notifying us of that juvenile moving down to Georgia having supervision. Number two, if we're not part of the, since we're not part of the compact, if that juvenile is picked up for a violation of the probation or commit another crime, if you're part of the compact, you could send that juvenile back to the state, thereby the cost of supervising and housing that juvenile will be at that state. However, since we're not part of the compact, we are forced to actually house those individuals here and commit them. And as you know, a part of the governor's juvenile justice reform was to reduce the number of commitments of juveniles in our detention centers. And as a result, the Department of Juvenile Justice requested that we push forward 898 to join the Interstate Compact, and also the governor is obviously being very supportive of this bill. I'd be happy to answer any questions, Mr. Speaker.
You have no questions.
Thank you very much.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 898 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machine on the passage of House Bill 898. The ayes are 169, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 910. House Bill 910.
House Bill 910 by Representative Kelly of the 16th to amend Code Section 31-2-4 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the powers, duties, functions, and responsibilities of the Department of Community Health. This bill having come before the Committee on Health and Human Services, the committee recommends same do pass and be read for the third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Kelly to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, members of the House. I come before you today with House Bill 910, which creates an authorization process through the Department of Community Health for medical legal partnerships. Medical legal partnerships are a joint, voluntary, and nonprofit collaboration where healthcare professionals invite legal professionals into the healthcare treatment team for typically low-income patients. The goal of this then is to provide more effective, efficient health care for those individuals so that they can get the best treatment possible under the holistic approach. Mr. Speaker, I'll be glad to yield for any questions, but I would ask for your favorable consideration on this measure.
You have a question, do you yield?
I will yield.
Chair recognizes Chairman Dollar to your left for a question.
Does the gentleman yield?
I will yield.
We were sitting here discussing this bill with our seatmate, Representative Hightower, and you referenced the term holistically as far as addressing this issue. Does this bill in any way affect alternative medicine or address that in any such way?
No, it doesn't, but I appreciate the question. This really, when we talk about the holistic approach, we're looking at treating individuals from all different views of medicine, not only there they're in the hospital, but also through legal professionals as well. But I appreciate the question there.
No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll yield the well.
Gentleman has yielded the well. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which was favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 910 will vote aye. Those opposed will vote no. And the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 910. The ayes are 167, the nays are 2. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Clerk will read the caption to House Bill 816. House Bill 816.
House Bill 816 by Representative Williamson of the 115th to amend Code Section 48-8-2 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to definitions relative to state sales and use taxes. This bill having come before the Committee on Ways and Means, the committee recommends same do pass and be read for the third time.
Chair recognizes Representative Williamson to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I'm here today to ask for your favorable consideration of House Bill 816. This bill would clean up a discrepancy of a definition about sales tax on postage. The language comes at the recommendation of the Department of Revenue and has no fiscal impact. I'll ask for your favorable consideration or be happy to answer any questions.
You have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will and ask for your favorable consideration.
Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The chair hears none. The previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee which is favorable to the passage of the bill? The chair hears none. The report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of the passage of House Bill 816 will vote aye. All those opposed will vote no, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines on the passage of House Bill 816. The ayes are 170, the nays are 0. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. What purpose does Representative Kelly rise? What purpose does Representative Nimmer rise? What purpose does Representative Beasley Teague rise?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker.
It's an awe-inspiring moment, isn't it, Representative?
Well, I know what I want, Mr. Speaker.
You want to make a motion?
Yeah, I sure do.
What state your motion?
I'd like for you to stop everything and let a bill be read for the first time. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker. I'm keeping up with everything else. But
Let's try that again.
Okay. Can you suspend the rules, please, sir, so we can have one of my bills read for the very first time? And assigned to a committee. Let me tell you what committee? Out. Okay.
I think I get it.
Thank you.
Clerk will read the caption.
House resolution by Representative Beasley Teague, the 65th, honoring a life, Mr. George Duke Beasley, and dedicating a road in his memory and for other purposes.
On the lady's motion that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? The chair hears none. It is so ordered. Transportation. What purpose does Representative Turner rise?
See if I can get this right. To make a motion, Mr.
State
Speaker.
your motion.
I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules so I could have a bill read for the first time and assigned to committee.
Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill by Representative Turner of the 21st to amend an act creating a new charter for the city of Holly Springs in the county of Cherokee.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? Chair hears none, and it is so ordered. Intergovernmental coordination. For what purpose does Representative Kelly rise?
To make a motion, Mr. Speaker,
State your motion.
I'd like to ask for this House to temporarily suspend the rules so that a bill can be read for the first time.
Clerk will read a caption.
House Bill by Representative Kelly of the 16th to amend Chapter 12 of Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to juries so as to clarify provisions relating to juries.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? Chair hears none, and it is so ordered. Judiciary. What purpose does Representative Nimmer rise?
Make a motion.
State your motion.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to ask that the rules of the House be temporarily suspended, that a bill may be read for the first time and assigned to committee.
Clerk will read a caption.
House resolution by Representative Nimmer of the 178th honoring Mr. Charles Elvin Hickox and renaming a bridge in his memory.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? The chair hears none, and it is so ordered. Transportation. What purpose does Chairman Dixon rise?
Request to have House Bill 1051 moved from judiciary non-civil to regulated industries.
Clerk will read the caption.
House Bill 1051 by Representative Dixon of the 6th to amend Code Section 50-36-1 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to the requirements, procedures, and conditions for verification of lawful presence within the United States.
Both chairmen agree. On the motion of the chairman that House Bill 1051 be withdrawn from the Judiciary Non-Civil Committee and committed to the Regulated Industries Committee, is there objection? The chair hears none, and it is so ordered. What purpose does Representative Moore rise?
Move to withdraw HB 1033 from consideration, please.
Clerk will read a caption.
House Bill 1033 by Representative Moore of the 22nd to amend Article 2, Chapter 11 of Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to offenses against public order so as to repeal the offense of loitering.
On the gentleman's motion that House Bill 1033 be withdrawn, is there objection? Chair hears none. The bill is withdrawn. What purpose does Chairman Roberts rise?
Rise to make a motion.
State your motion.
Make a motion that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended so a bill may be read for the first time and signed to committee.
Clerk will read the caption.
House Resolution 1544 by Representative Roberts of the 155th, honoring the life of Major Henry Talmadge Elrod and dedicating a road in his memory.
On the motion of the chairman that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? Chair hears none. It is so ordered. Transportation. What purpose does Chairman Smyrie rise? State your motion.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to move that the rules be temporarily suspended so a bill and resolution could be introduced and assigned to committee.
Is it a bill and a resolution? Is that right, Mr. Clerk? Why don't you read the caption to both?
House Resolution by Brooks of the 55th, encouraging the Capital Arts Standard Commission to authorize the erection of a statue dedicated to the Reverend Martin Luther King, Jr. House Bill by Representative Smyrie of the 135th, to amend Chapter 3 of Title 50 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to state flags, seals, and other symbols, so as to provide for the placement of a statue to the Reverend Martin Luther King, Jr.
On the motion of the gentleman that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow both a House resolution and a House bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? Chair hears none, and it is so ordered. Both measures, the House resolution and the House bill, will be assigned to state properties. State properties. What purpose does Chairman Roberts rise? State your motion.
I ask that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended so a bill may be read for the first time and signed to committee.
Clerk will read a caption.
House Resolution by Representative Roberts of the 155th, creating the Joint Study Committee on Critical Transportation Infrastructure Funding.
On the gentleman's motion that the rules of this House be temporarily suspended to allow a bill to be read for the first time and assigned to committee, is there objection? Chair hears none, and it is so ordered. Transportation. If you signed up for an announcement, we're going to go on to announcements now. If you have page photographs, get with your pages up at the rostrum. We're going to do those immediately upon adjournment. Give attention to the members making announcements from the well. Chair recognizes the chairman of the Appropriations Committee, Chairman England, for an announcement.
Thank you, Speaker. Members of the committee, House Appropriations Full Committee will be meeting at 3 o'clock in room 341. Have one bill to take up, Representative Chandler's House Bill 810, dealing with Hope scholarships and grants for homeschoolers. Should be a very short meeting, and you can get on to others. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Williamson for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of the 152 clubs, the Boys and Girls Clubs in the Georgia Alliance, which serve over 90,000 students, would like to invite all the members of the General Assembly to the 2014 Georgia Legislative Breakfast tomorrow morning at 7:15. in the Floyd room on the top of the Sloppy Floyd building. Starts at 7:15. Come help honor these kids who are so excited about coming and visiting our state capitol. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Battles for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Upon adjournment, the House Retirement Committee will be meeting immediately in room 415. We've got 3 bills, and we need a quorum to get those out today. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Golick for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Judiciary Non-Civil will meet upon adjournment in room 132. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Carter for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Tomorrow morning's Governmental Affairs 8 a.m. meeting has been changed to 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. CLOB 606 from 1 to 3. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Rice for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. House Motor Vehicles full committee will meet upon adjournment in 606, so 3 bills.
Chair recognizes Chairman Smith for an announcement. Chairman Richard Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The full insurance committee will meet tomorrow on adjournment in room 415. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Tom Weldon for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Juvenile Justice Committee meeting scheduled for 3 o'clock today is going to be moved back 30 minutes. So the Juvenile Justice will meet at 3:30, CLOB, room 406. That's 3:30 today, CLOB, room 406. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Cooper for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Health and Human Services Committee will meet today at 3 o'clock in room 606 CLOB. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Maxwell for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Regulated Industries will have a meeting this afternoon. We're going to have subcommittee and regular committee meetings back to back, but I need everybody there at, should be there about 3:30. We're meeting in room 415 after retirement finishes. Hopefully it'll be before 3:30, but in 415, Regulated Industries. I know you got a lot of meetings, but I need a quorum to be there if I can. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Representative Dudgeon for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Academic Achievement Subcommittee of Education meeting for today is canceled.
Chair recognizes Chairman Hamilton for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The industry and labor will be taking up a measure upon adjournment in 506. Upon adjournment in 506. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Pruitt for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Estate Planning and Community Affairs will be meeting in 403 immediately upon adjournment. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Hatchett for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The House Majority Caucus will meet in the morning at 8 a.m. in room 341. Tomorrow, 8 a.m., 341. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Sims for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. State Properties will meet in room 403 at 4 p.m. today.
Chair recognizes Chairman Willard for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The full Judiciary Committee will be meeting in the Coverdale Office Building in room 515 starting at 3 o'clock. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House for a motion.
Speaker, I move we now stand in recess until 5 p.m. today, at which time we shall adjourn until 10 a.m. Tuesday morning, February 25th, 2014.
The Majority Leader has moved that this House be in recess until 5 o'clock p.m., whereupon we will be adjourned until 10 o'clock a.m. Tuesday, February 25th. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed will say no. The ayes have it. This House will be in recess until 5 o'clock p.m., whereupon we will be adjourned until 10 o'clock a.m. Tuesday, February 25th.